Hi everyone, today let's talk about what everybody desires to have, aspires to have, and loves more of. According to Triennial Central Bank Survey in 2019, the daily Forex transaction volume is a whopping US $6.6 trillion across the world. Clearly, this is the world's largest financial market on earth. If you think about it, money is nothing more than a medium of exchange, yet this seemingly simple piece of commodity is a basic necessity in everybody's life. From companies trading across the borders to students getting overseas education to leisure travel, people are increasingly familiar with foreign exchange, with savvy investors adding currency trading as part of their investment portfolio. It seems more are taking interest in learning more about trading in currency in hopes that this making some money in profits from the exchange rate movements. Which brings me to today's topic on inspiration with Dar
and Rennie.
It is all about money. That's right.
Yep.
And so Dar, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think everybody loves money. Tell me who is not.
That's right.
And that's why we're here today, talking all about money.
That's right. So Dar, given
Yep.
your experience in the past 30 years on this subject, what types of currency markets are there, and also how do we select the right ones to trade in?
Wow, you sound like an expert.
I'm getting all comfy with currency because I believe this is really a hot topic which everybody wants to know
it
about.
is.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us.
Well, okay, basically we look at three markets related to currency. The
Okay.
first of all, we always talk about currency futures. All right, currency futures, which is traded in exchange. And the next one, which is the more popular and a lot of retail traders would like to take part, is we call it spot FX or spot Forex market, which is very easy to open an account, probably with a couple of $1,000s, so you can start trading.
Yeah.
All right, then of course we'll talk about what's the difference between these two. So besides the currency futures, besides the spot FX, the third one is we call it currency options, which is less known to most of the people.
Because I think with currency options, because don't get me wrong, there's a lot of technicals involved in terms of
Definitely,
how
yes.
you hedge your position and everything else. Am I right?
Gamma, delta,
Exactly,
all these things.
right.
And of course, there are options in spot FX, there are options in currency futures. So it's a very complex thing. So basically, I still want to boil down to the first two sections. That first two section that people always trade more in currency futures or spot FX.
Okay.
So these are the two main market areas.
In market areas.
Yeah.
Okay, and from my understanding of currency trading, currency futures is a centralized market, while spot and forex is decentralized. These terms may seem intimidating to the uninitiated
you've done a
or
good
to
homework.
a first-time investor. I know because I know a bit of currency.
Yeah,
so,
man.
what exactly are their differences? How does one start trading in these markets? That is, I think, a very good topic. Do you think so?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so yeah.
Well, as I mentioned, currency futures is a centralized market. So that means they are traded in an exchange, or we call it derivative exchange. And every contract comes with a standard specs. We call the contract specification,
Right.
which actually outlines clearly on how much is one tick value, what's the contract size, what is the fixed trading hours, and how is it going to be settled by cash. So everybody will trade accordingly to the contract specs that we call it. All right. Whereas spot FX is a decentralized market, which means it actually operates 24 hours around, day in, day out, from country to country on different time zone. And a lot of retailers, as I mentioned earlier, okay, they like to take part in this because it is not like trading the currency futures that you need perhaps at least 20,000, 30,000
Right.
or more to open a new account.
Okay.
But for spot FX, you can open the account as little as just $1,000. All right, because you can choose the size of the denomination that you want to trade. So which means if you want to trade one standard lot of 100,000 front currency, it could be pounds, could be euros, could be US, or you can trade in multiples of that, or you can trade as little as just maybe like 10,000 units worth of the front currency. And one more thing, okay, if you want to trade on spot currency, it is always measured on a paired up currency, which means, for example, like US dollar versus Sing, we call it dollar Sing, or we have the dollar ringgit, US dollar versus ringgit, or we have the US dollar versus Japanese yen. So it is always two currency. Yeah, they pair up in order to mark up the value of that. So this is what we call the exchange rate.
Okay. And another question, I mean, this is just something I'm adding into the
Yeah.
mix as well. When you trade, if you know, like you mentioned, there's two different types of trading. Are there margins involved or not?
Oh, sure.
Right.
Okay, regardless you are trading on the currency futures or the spot FX, both markets operate on margin.
Right.
All right, margin trading.
Yeah, because the reason I'm asking is because for the novice trader who you know, he's unaware of this and he just jumps into a position and before you know it, he gets a call from the bank saying, hey, you know,
that'd be a great loss.
Right, exactly. So I think that's the reason why I kind of brought it up as well.
Yeah,
I was thinking
definitely.
about margins and
Now let me add on a little bit. Since you mentioned that margin is considered a high risk trading activities,
Right.
for those people who want to take part in this, they really must know how to control the risk. And on the average in the market, regardless is you're trading on currency futures or spot FX, the margin requirement is about 5 to 10% of what the contract value that you're trading in.
it's all about risk. And now let's jump to my next question. We had a couple of requests regarding investing in spot FX. Can you share with us what are the major forex pairs, as you were mentioning, pairing in forex, right? So what are some of the major forex pairing when it comes to currencies?
Okay.
Spot FX.
Major currencies simply mean the G7 countries. All right. What are the G7 countries? US, UK, Germany, France, Italy, Japan, and the last one is Canada.
Right, so all the big boys.
Yeah, all the big boys. That's why
Big
they
boys,
are the
basically.
G7.
That's right.
So of course, inside these G7 countries, we know that the Germany, France, and Italy, they are using one single currency called euros.
Okay.
All right. So when we actually size them up on all these currencies into pair, all right, basically what are the major currencies in the whole world? First of all, we are talking about US dollar versus Japanese yen, or we call the dollar yen in short.
Yeah.
Then second one, actually quite insignificant. And one thing I just want to add on, although you have not asked me,
Yeah.
many people say, okay, these are the major currencies, and what are the minors? There are no such thing as
There's no
minors.
minors, yeah.
So we are mentioning like, are they major currencies or are they the non-majors? All right. So major currencies, basically there are four in the whole world,
Right.
and the rest are considered non-majors,
Okay.
including Sing dollars, or Thai bahts.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think people would have noticed that when Dao was mentioning all the different currencies, that the US dollar seems to be having such a large influence in terms of the control over all the major pairs. Okay? So what about euro and sterling pound now? I mean, where are they heading?
Okay, pounds will devalue.
Right.
And on the other hand, if US dollar tends to devalue, euros and pounds will sure rise in values.
Okay.
So when you ask, oh, what do I see in euros and what do I see in pounds? First of all, we got to understand what is the current trend now in US dollar.
Okay.
Right?
And I think when
sounds logical, right?
Right. I think when you mentioned that,
Yep.
that will be a whole other topic which we can discuss in another episode about, what kind of determines how the US dollar moves, right?
Yes,
Okay,
definitely,
that we can save for another topic.
okay, let me answer the second part of this question.
Right.
So we have the euro currency versus USD, or we call the euro USD pair.
Right.
Then third one, we have the pound USD, all right, the British pounds versus the US dollar.
Okay.
And the fourth one is the dollar Canadians, or we call the dollar loonies. US dollar versus Canadian dollars exchange rate.
Right.
So four other majors. The rest are, if you are looking at euros and pounds separately,
Right.
okay, we all know that they are all marked up to US dollars. So US dollar is actually the main currency force in the whole world because they are still the biggest GDP in the whole world. So all right, so regardless any major currencies that you're trading, you got to first learn how to look at US dollar strength, because naturally when US dollar strengthen, euros and pounds. If you talk about US dollar strength, whether it is strong or weak, then we have to look at US dollar index. The symbol is called USDX.
Right.
All right. Currently, US dollar index is a little bit on the bullish side because recently people are talking about the US probably having inflation and the bond yields are rising, interest rates are going up. So dollar is a little bit on the strengthening. Okay. So when dollar is strengthening, definitely now currently when you are watching us, all right, on this inspiration episode,
Right.
We are expecting euros and pounds both to be on the softening side.
Okay.
Right. So because dollar is strengthening,
Right.
so euro USD will go down and pound USD will also devalue a little bit in the month of April.
All right. Okay. So once again, after hearing you talk about and sharing to everybody out here about the interest and how the currency market moves, you just piqued my interest into forex trading. So guess what? I'm about to ask you next.
What is it?
Okay, well, here goes.
Yep.
Here goes.
Okay,
So, Dar,
as usual.
share with the viewers how someone with no experience in forex trading would start. Are there any sure ways of making money, or making winning, so-called in FX trading? And
I love
should
this
we
question.
look for and focus on? It's now, and it's also it's now the right time to invest in forex.
Well, I think when we talk about forex market, we talk about investment, or we talk about just trading, which is speculation. All right. Of course, we are talking about investment is a long-term trend where we are looking at dollar strengthening in the next 1 to 2 years, or whether dollar is weakening on the next 1 to 2 years. But in any case, when we are looking at the short-term trading, anywhere up to a month, that we keep flipping and make the money, which is the profit, okay, out of the exchange rate changes. We are always looking at, first of all, how much margin you have, because you need to have enough margin in order to know how to control the risk before you enter market. So risk control, what we call risk management, is one very important factor for all the beginners, because I have seen a lot of beginners who thought that no, trading is just about hitting a button, buy or sell. It's that easy, and in fact, most of them lose money. All right. Then the second thing is, once you have the control and the understanding of using your margin management, your risk control technique, now the next two things are very important. Listen up.
Yep.
Number one is fundamentals. You have to understand the market fundamentals. Like earlier I mentioned, in the month of April, all right, if you are looking at US dollar to be on a strengthening side, then in that case, we will be looking to sell euros and pounds.
Okay.
All right, so that's what I call the fundamentals.
Okay.
All right, then on the fundamental side, the next thing is, if you start to go into the market to either buy or sell, then you must have an estimate time frame, how long you're going to hold this position. All right, so from fundamentals, we move into the next very important section, will be the technical part. A lot of people trade without understanding what is technicals. All right, technical means you're looking at the chart, you're using the indicators effectively to find an on-time entry with an on-time exit. All right, so let me repeat again. So risk management, fundamental understanding, and technical analysis are the three important things if you want to trade and start making your money.
Right. I think what, if I'm gonna, just to correct me if I'm wrong, I think most importantly, if you have zero knowledge on investing and trading, I think
don't take the risk.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
Don't take the risk.
Don't take the risk.
When there's, and I believe DAR also conducts classes on this. So right, so doing a bit of a PR for DAR. So yes. So yeah, I mean, basically, it's all as you mentioned. There's a lot of risk involved, especially if you don't have the technical skills, you don't have fundamentals. So it's always good to find someone who's going to give you all the information and who can actually walk you step by step and guide you on how to trade successfully.
Agree.
Am I right? Okay.
Yes, definitely. But I have to clarify. Actually,
Yes.
I have not done classes on technical analysis on FX for 10
You should,
years.
man. You should. Seriously.
Because I'm very busy with my own work. But I do upload some very good videos in the YouTube.
Okay.
Then perhaps we can share the link, and we got more things to share, and people can actually learn themselves. All right, and keep practicing, because trading is all about practicing.
That's right.
It's not about having element of luck, or maybe just trading by hearsay. So everything boils down to your risk management, how much you understand the market fundamental changing, and how much you can utilize the technical analysis in order to trade for higher winning probability. I think that's all about trading.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, well, once again, thank you so much, Dar, for that very quick update.
You're welcome.
In Forex. All right. I mean, personally, myself, I've benefited from it, and I'm sure all of you out there feel the same way as well. But before we sign out, do remember to keep those questions coming, and don't forget to leave us comments on any of our videos, on anything that you might want to find out about.
Let us know, and we'll do our best to answer everything that you ask.
That's right. And thank you once again for joining us this week. And join us once again in the coming weeks, where we will bring you another episode of Inspiration. And he's
Dar,
and I'm Renee,
signing out.